Very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
On the road, on the road, down the road, on three. 1, 2, 3. Turn that damn Drew ball.
Now here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome into halftime on a bright and sunny day across the natural state. We have our national champion. And boy, was I wrong yesterday and really for the last couple of weeks. I don't know if anybody expected to see the final score that we saw. I remember mentioning it yesterday, like this game could get out of hand if TCU doesn't score early in the ball game, and man, they did on that first drive. But God Almighty, did Georgia just totally dominate in every facet once that was done? Matt, should I have bought into the idea that if the first play of the game by an offensive team is a false start, then they're not ready?
Well, it was on both teams had it though.
That's a good point.
Yeah. They were definitely overwhelmed. You could tell they didn't belong on the field with them, and I think after Kansas State beats them, that you kind of see that, and they played the best game they could against Michigan. I mean that was their thing, and sometimes when you have that like that, I think we might get it more, Phil, when you have 12 teams in the playoffs. You might not necessarily get the best two teams in the national championship game. You might kind of have some lopsided games like that.
Well, I mean, what would have been a better game, to throw a certain opponent in there? I mean, maybe if you would have had Michigan and Ohio State meet up in the first round, you could have seen a better second game. I don't know. I mean, maybe TCU, blew everything they had in order to take down Michigan the way that they did. And maybe the fact that Ohio State led Georgia in the fourth quarter and had a 2-touchdown lead in the second half, goosed the Georgia Bulldogs in a way that nobody really, I guess, in the SEC did outside of maybe Vanderbilt. I did not expect to see the biggest blowout in the short history of the college football national championship game. And I'll count all the BCS games too, because that was a 1 versus 2, and you felt like you had a real national title that we all kind of cemented around. There was no doubt, though. And you could tell that it was going to start happening by the end of the first quarter. TCU couldn't make a first down. Dugan was running around for his life, making bad decisions.
There was nobody open a lot of those times, too. Yeah.
Yeah. And Stetson Bennett was nearly perfect, is what it felt like.
They would get a penalty, Phil, and it was like they didn't care. It was just like, we're going to get these yards. We're just going to make up these yards anyways. They were just dominated from start to finish.
Once they got ahead by 2 touchdowns, I figured that's it. The game, the line was 13.5. I thought if it got farther than 13.5 in the first quarter, then that would be it. And it was 10, but I mean they started to pull away early in the second, and I'm like, all right, well, let's just sit back and admire greatness while we have a chance to watch college football for the final time here in this season. And that's what it was. It was true greatness on the field for a program that has now stepped in front of Alabama as the preeminent program in the country. And they're already the front runners for the national title next year, but no, it's too much about next year, I guess, because this year there was one undefeated team going into the postseason, and now there's one undefeated team standing tall, and no doubt about it. Stetson Bennett, legendary, a truly legendary college quarterback. Who cares what happens to him in the NFL? I mean, if he gives it a shot, I mean, all of that.
He could go to Canada and make a lot of money. Like if he wants to play, but he'll go try the NFL because that's what I think athletes and competitors do. But I don't know how much his game translates to the next level. Yeah.
Well, maybe the size too. I read somebody talking. Maybe he could change. He could change positions because he's fast.
He can't play anything else. Everybody, chill out. I
kind of wonder about that myself.
Yeah, he is not he's not an athlete like that. No, he's not.
But he looked great yesterday.
Amazing.
That reminded me of some of those Super Bowls from the late '80s and the early '90s. Like San Francisco against the Broncos and San Francisco against San Diego, Dallas against almost everybody that they played. Washington versus Denver. Games when you went into it like, all right, it's obvious one team looks better than the other, but you're hoping for a good game because it's supposed to be. When it's the biggest game of the season, when the title's on the line, I guess we expect to see a good football game. But that's what it reminded me of. It just reminded me of, all right, I guess the national championship game happened the week before. It used to be the winner of the NFC title game. It was like, all right, why are we even watching the Super Bowl? It's either Dallas or San Francisco or Washington or the New York Giants back in those days. And maybe that's what it was about. Maybe Ohio State would have been able to boat race TCU, but just the fact that they played Georgia as tightly as they did, meaning Ohio State, maybe they really were the second best team in the country. I don't know if TCU was.
And that's
comes down to it.
And that's my point, kind of, Phil. When we get to this tournament style, we're not going to get number 1 and number 2 in the championship. That's because when we started the BCS, that's what we wanted. We wanted, hey man, we want to find a way to get number 1 and number 2 to play for the national title, so we could see. And then sometimes it's like, well, this third team, they could have been up there. And usually we can narrow it down to 1 or 2. But when you go this tournament style, when it's going to be a playoff, think in basketball, you don't necessarily get it's not 2 number 1 seeds playing in March Madness. And when you got the tournament, it's not necessarily the number 1 seeds are going to make it.
And I mean, they're a powerhouse. Georgia is just a powerhouse in recruiting. And how do you lose as many players as they did?
Did you see that freshman DN they had? And their backup tight end, but that freshman DN had that baby face in there, and just he grabbed that guy by the neck with his forearms. He didn't even put his hands around him and threw him down. They called holding, and I was like, that dude's a freshman? Like, what he's going to make a lot of money.
That's what I mean. It's like, how do you lose everything that they lost to the NFL and the NFL draft last year and still put together the same record, and win the whole thing all over again? Without even, they didn't lose a single transfer. I understand that, but they lost a lot of talent. First round, second round, last draft, and who knows? Maybe they were even a little bit better than last year. I mean, what's to prevent Georgia from doing this again? I mean, their backups looked better than TCU's first stringers last night. Well, they're
going to have to get a quarterback.
Shocking.
It's tough. You got to find the right QB, but talent-wise, they got it.
Well, I mean, they'll find a quarterback. I mean, if you can find a Stetson Bennett and convince him to go to a junior college and then bring him back and he's got to win the starting job a couple of times. Maybe I don't know if they could have won with anybody. And I'm not trying to say that. I think Stetson Bennett is a great college quarterback. But if they're able to win with a former walk-on who turned great, what's to say that this Georgia program doesn't make it 3 in a row?
You see, too, the TCU quarterback, he wasn't even starting at the beginning of the season, had new coaching staff come in, loses his job, and he sticks with it. And you see a lot of these kids nowadays, Phil, that when something don't go right away, they just transfer out or say, I'm going to hit the portal and I'm going to move on. And so that was pretty cool that he stuck through it, and he had a great year as well.
Now, I like watching greatness, but I also just I couldn't watch anymore. Once it got deep into the second half, pretty much late in the third quarter, I think that's enough. I think that's enough. I wasn't interested in watching Georgia rub TCU's face in the mud. They didn't keep the starters in the whole time. I did miss Stetson Bennett's walk off to the end of his career, and kudos to Kirby for giving him that opportunity because. I mean, look, we haven't seen many quarterbacks win 2 national championships in our lifetime. I think it's happened, maybe a couple handfuls of times over the course of the history of college football. So now ends. Look, we could say everything about Bennett. So he's 25 years old. He's older than what? How many quarterbacks are younger than him that are taking NFL teams to the playoffs? 4 or 5 of them, I think.
I think Hurts from Philly's 25, and then your boy Herbert from San Diego. Is he not 25 as well, or 24?
I think Joe Burrow is younger than him too,
dude. And he's good, dude. That dude, he's better than what I thought he would be. He's a stud.
But I mean, he's had a singular career. I mean, really, a singular career. I don't know any other story that's quite like Stetson Bennett. And remember, like his career kind of started at Georgia playing against the Razorbacks. on the first game of the 2020 season. Who was the name of that kid? DeJuan Mathis was the name of the Georgia quarterback that started 2020 and was taken out of the game halfway through. Bennett comes in, and they turned into Georgia a little bit. So, yeah, an unmatched college career. And there's other quarterbacks that had bigger seasons, bigger numbers throughout the years. You show me another quarterback that, and I don't have to go through the whole story about him because we've already done it. Show me another quarterback that has had the level of success of raising trophies coming from almost literally nowhere. I don't know anybody that's quite done it the way that Stetson Bennett has.
Even Matt Leinart and that USC team, they lost their second national champion. They didn't even repeat, and that team was considered one of the best teams ever.
So I know I couldn't help but look ahead to next year for Georgia. I mean, everybody's already voting them first, and they're way too early preseason poll and everything. Before we even know, where all the dominoes land as far as who's transferring where and what some coaching staffs look like, I don't see anything on the schedule for Georgia next year that really frightens me all that much. They don't have a tough non-conference schedule. They play Tennessee Martin, Ball State, Alabama, Birmingham, and, of course, they finish the year with Georgia Tech. They host South Carolina. Carolina is good. That game's in Athens. I don't know if South Carolina will be ready to, rise up for an upset like that. At Auburn, first year under Freeze. Don't see it happening there. Kentucky going to Athens. They go to Vandy, host Florida, host Mizzou. Ole Miss is coming into Sanford.
So
their toughest game will be going to Tennessee against the Volunteers next year.
Their West opponents are Auburn and Ole Miss. Yeah, they should. If they find a quarterback now, Phil, being a number one team in the country, this. They're going to get everybody's best. Everybody's going to be trying. So you got to be ready to go. But I'm with you, man. I don't see a lot of L's on that scorecard right there.
Well, I mean, they're 33-1 in the last 34 games they've played. So
my
I haven't
goodness.
seen many L's for them at all. That's truly shocking. So, good text in here from Weston Seagraves. How many years did it take Kirby Smart at Georgia to win the first national championship? Was it his third year? It's his sixth year, I think. So fourth year then.
Well, Mark Richt had a decade to try it. It's not like they haven't been getting talent. I mean, they've been getting talent for since back in the last 20 years, man. They always have 5 stars and 4 stars.
Kind of interesting. I wouldn't call it the ultimate irony, but it is a little bit of irony. The night that Georgia raises the national championship trophy for the second year in a row, Mark Richt is voted into the College Football Hall of Fame. And I know, I forget exactly the health issue he's been dealing with, but I know it's been pretty serious. But that was always the knock on Richt. Great recruiter. You bring in a great collection of talent. He had success at Georgia, just not the level of success that those fans and really I think the administration too expected. And then Kirby Smart comes in straight from a program that had won, I forget how many national titles Kirby won at Alabama as the defensive coordinator, and it might have taken a little bit of time, but man, are they a steam engine rolling right now through the SEC East, through the SEC overall, and all across college football.
And that, to your point, we talked a little bit yesterday, Phil. I still think of Georgia as a defensive team first, and that's what you saw last night. It's prolific and as good as they can be on offense with Kirby Smart and that team. It starts with the defense, and that's why I think they've been able to have that success. Where Mark Richt's more of an offense, which you love it. I'm a Mark Richt fan. I'm not saying that, but what Kirby's done is pretty special.
188 total yards for the TCU Horned Frogs yesterday. This was a team that was going back and forth. Michigan's a good defensive team. Maybe they just gave all that they possibly could and had nothing left. But we have all sorts of reasons to think about what happened the week before. Could have affected the national championship game. And maybe it just comes down to Georgia was that good and whipped into a frenzy by a coach that told Holly Rowe that that the word on his mind was aggression, that they were going out hunting. And I think even afterwards, talked about being doubted at the start of the season, I guess being voted third in the preseason poll is being doubted now. But Alabama was the odds-on favorite. Remember, they were like the heaviest favorite to win the national championship in the last 30 or 40 years. and they end up not even making it. And so you can use what you want for to gin your team up, and they were ginned up all year long. So, all right, here's what we got on halftime today. Chuck Barrett coming up in just a moment. Clay Henry usually with us on Tuesday. We're going to have Clay tomorrow. So we got a lot of wide open space for calls and texts on halftime today. And we will have Chuck Barrett with us next. So stay with us on halftime.
In my fist and dreamed about you, woman. I poke my finger down inside, make a little room for an ant to hide. Nature's candy in my hand, or can or pie.
Arkansas, will you make the Final Four? In them wacky uniforms with the pigs with horns. And did I hear you say you were playing a game today with the home crowd yelling, woo, pig suey? Hey, those pigs may be hogs, but they're kosher to me. Capiche?
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas wins the national championship.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Make today more interesting with Betley's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betley, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betley Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betley.com. With Betley, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. Go Paschal.com.
The track capital of the world is right here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, as the historic Razorback track and field program chases their 48th national title. Cheer on the nationally ranked Razorbacks as they open up the indoor season with the Arkansas Invitational on the world's fastest track, the Tyson Indoor Track Center, on Friday, January 13th. Season tickets are on sale now for just $40, and kids are free at every meet. Join the chase today at ArkansasRazorbacks.com, and we will see you on January 13th.
Okay, Julie, have you made your decision?
Oh, wow, I have. This was a tough choice. I had such a great time with Brad, but I am gonna have to pick Geico.
Interesting.
Geico is just, sorry, I'm getting emotional, been by my side, for so long with great customer service.
I thought we had something, Julie.
I'm sorry, Brad. Geico is just always there for me whenever I need them.
It's an insurance company.
No, it's an insurance partner, Brad.
For the choice you can always rely on, go to geico.com.
Got my buddy Andrew with me, and Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. You could basically say Randall Ford's Truck Central, because if they're looking for Dodge, if they're looking for Fords, if they're looking for Chevys, GMCs, you guys have them.
That's right. We got them all, mid-size, half-ton, three-quarter ton. I mean, we really got you covered on all aspects there.
What about Rangers? You guys have any new Rangers?
Man, we do. We've actually got a new Ranger splash package. Looks real, real nice.
Absolutely love that car. So I was checking out the purple Mustang that you have. Good-looking car, man.
That's right, purple GT Premium. I mean, that unique car. You're not going to find another one for a while.
No, all they have to do is just come by and ask for Andrew.
That's right, Andrew Munoz.
There you go. That's my buddy Andrew Munoz. He'll take care of you and treat you like family the first time. Hey, stop by and see us. Don't forget you can always shop us online 24/7. We're ready to take care of you and kick the new year off by saving you more money at Randall Ford in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
The voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us on Halftime on this Tuesday. Chuck, we watched true greatness last night, dominance by the Georgia Bulldogs. Did you see that coming? I thought we'd see a tight game. I thought it could get out of hand. I did not see 65.
Well, I didn't see 65-7. Yeah, we were talking yesterday on the morning show about how, last week it was kind of like, man, this may be a good game. TCU's playing well, Duggan's playing well, but the closer it got, the closer we got, it was like, who are we kidding? Georgia, to me, when I watched them last night, they are every bit as good as the best Nick Saban Alabama team. Every bit as good. They are the equal, if not greater than, any of the vintage Alabama teams. And I just I think they're the new dynasty. They're the new dynasty. They're the new they're the new gold standard, at least for now. That's kind of an overused term, but it's true. They just it was no contest. Anybody there? I'm not breaking any news there. It was like men with boys.
Got out of hand early, man. And that was the thing I was worried about. I thought TCU would cover, but I also knew, just like everybody else, that game could get out of hand. It reminded me of a lot of those Super Bowls in the late 80s and the early 90s. It's like you'd go into that game like, man, I really want to see a good game. Your hope would lead you to that belief that you want to see a good Super Bowl. And it was a blowout from the start. That's kind of what I felt watching yesterday. Stetson Bennett, could Georgia have won with anybody at quarterback? Because I don't think so. You got to believe in the guy that's playing your quarterback position. We talk about Stetson Bennett as a former walk-on. That's no walk-on now. That's a great college quarterback. He was in command yesterday.
No doubt. There's no question. He's a 25-year-old man, and he played like it last night. I just think on the whole, though, that, big and fast beats smaller and fast every time. It just does. And Georgia's big and fast. And TCU's got some speed. They got a nice team. They've had a great year. They played the schedule that was put in front of them, and they won, all but one game, I guess. So, they're a great team. But, Georgia's, they're 4- and 5-star everywhere. And I know, you're right. Bennett, he's Burlsworth Trophy winner, but he's far from a walk-on now. And but I just think that, that play where he scored, the touchdown run early. I'm not saying anybody could have done it, but a lot of guys could have done it. Matt would have got there a lot quicker.
He didn't get touched. They'd ran that play, the same play, the other side, and he gave it to the running back. I think he could have scored. He could have scored on that. Chuck, what do you think in as far as dynasties or legacies? And I know sometimes we have to wait 5 more years or 7 more years to tell, like that Miami Hurricane team. You look at that, and there was like 17 NFL players, 2 Hall of Famers on that team. That being said, where do you think this team ranks as dynasties in the last 30, 40 years?
Well, I think the team we saw last night's as good as any of those teams. Now, I know there were games where, maybe they didn't dominate certainly the way they did last night. I got to thinking about this morning. Georgia played 15 games. Matt, you've played an NFL schedule. I mean, that's a lot of football.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that you're going to go out and click on all cylinders every game that's as far-fetched as it gets. I mean, it's just not going to happen. There's going to be an ebb and a flow to this. And, for Georgia to win the close games, to find ways to win, the 1 or 2 close games that they had, speaks to their talent as a team, their ability to pull it off when they may not be having their best day. But I think we saw last night, and great teams are like this. I mean, they embraced the moment. They were not scared one bit. And, they'd been there before, and I think that has a lot to do with it, maybe more than we realize. But, they were just, it was a total dismantling. But to answer your question, I think that team's as good. The team we saw last night is as good as any of the dynasty teams. Now, those great Miami teams, probably, if you really want to rate
they
best
had some
talent, best
players,
teams,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be hard to argue with some of those Miami teams, but Georgia played like them last night.
Man, they flew around, and I always think of that Georgia team as being a defensive team first. I was talking to Phil earlier. I said that Nebraska team that beat Florida in the Fiesta Bowl, it was kind of like the last butt whooping you saw where Florida didn't even belong on the field with them.
Yeah, and I mean, it was, they just, in every phase, but it starts at the line of scrimmage. And, I mean, that's where TCU just got beat all night. I mean, Georgia on just a typical running play was getting 6 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was just the push that they got all night was incredible. And, Georgia's defensive front, their front seven, I mean, TCU was helpless. They just were.
I saw one stat. I don't know if you saw this, Phil, or Chuck, but it was like in the middle of the second quarter, kind of the end of the second quarter. It said Georgia was averaging like 10.9 yards a play. Like there was no stopping them.
I mean, they finished over 8 yards a play.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And I mean, here's the name we haven't even mentioned. Brock Bowers. I mean,
oh my
as a freshman,
goodness,
he was incredible. As a sophomore, he's even better. I mean, that's
an NFL player.
This very well could be the best player in college football, and he's a tight end.
How many times you see reverses run into the tight end multiple times? They're running tight end reverses.
Well, people talk about how long is Georgia going to be good. That Washington guy that caught that ball down the seam, I mean, he looks like an NFL tight end right now. So, they just they are every bit as good in terms of where their program is as Alabama was at any point during Saban. And Georgia's the standard right now.
There's only a few national champions in the last, I guess, 10, 15 years where they haven't had like a sustained run of greatness. I mean, Clemson had a sustained run. Florida had that sustained run. Alabama had like 14 years, and they're still great. USC, LSU is like the outlier from the Burrow year.
Auburn too, kind of.
Yeah, Auburn too. Those are the two. But the thing about Georgia right now is that I mean, I don't see any. You look at the schedule ahead of them.
They'll be favored in every game.
And the players that they have coming in, and I mean, we can say that the transfer portal can lead to some parity. There are some dudes that might be looking to get over to Georgia next year because they're going to lose some guys to the draft. I don't see them slowing down either. I mean, it's a sport where the dominant teams sometimes stay dominant for a long time. I think we're going to be looking at that.
Yeah, I think, somebody's going to have to beat them in the SEC championship game. It's kind of the way I look at it. You look at the last 4 years, if you win the SEC, pretty good bet to win the whole thing. Somebody's got to beat Georgia in Atlanta, and then as the playoff expands, somebody's going to have to beat them. Someone's going to have to beat them along the way in the playoff. And right now, Georgia is just, again, I mean, they're the standard. I don't see any drop-off. I'm sure they'll find him a good quarterback. I don't think they'll have any problem at all doing that. And they'll keep doing what they're doing. And somewhere along the way, they'll slip up and have a bad game. I mean, those great Alabama teams didn't go undefeated every year. But, the one thing you do see in the East, Tennessee's gotten a little bit better. The teams in that division, over the last 10 years, it's probably not been as strong as the West. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying it's not been as strong as the West. So, they need that. If you want to see somebody knock off Georgia, that division needs to continue to get better top to bottom.
Yeah, South Carolina was third in that division this year. And then when Florida – it's always a mystery to me when Florida is not good. Like you would think they would be kind of like Georgia is because they get all the talent as well.
I feel the same like the years that Georgia was. It's been a long time. When they were mediocre, how does that happen?
In Texas,
there?
like Texas football, you're looking around and we saw JV. You saw the safety. He committed to Texas, so wish him the best. But it's always surprised when Texas isn't good.
Well, to me, the drop at Florida has been Florida. What were they? 7-6, 6-7. I'm not sure.
Florida was 6-7.
6-7 with the bowl loss.
Georgia under Rick was 9-3. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's a difference there. I think next year will be it'll be an important year for Florida. I would not expect him if they've hired the right guy. I would not expect him to stay down long. Florida should be good in everything, and they should challenge to be the best team in that division every year. I'm still not sure what went wrong with Dan Mullen down there, but obviously it went wrong. Florida's a place where I do think it's like Alabama. I think it's like what we're seeing at Georgia, maybe to an extent at LSU. If you hire the right guy, you ought to be able to win big there. There are 4 or 5 programs in our league, and Florida's right there at the top of the list. If you got the right guy, you should win big. And if they've got the right guy, they'll make a big jump this coming season. They need to get better at quarterback. That's where it starts.
And do you remember where last year's championship game, A&M was able to have like a 4-hour recruiting commercial with Jimbo Fisher on, I think it was like ESPNU or something like that? I kind of feel a little bit the same way with Nick Saban being a studio analyst. And I understand why you'd have him there. Greatest coach in college football history. You can argue about that, but right now, he's at the top of the list still. Someone's coached Saban on how to do television. The way he moves his hands, the way he moves his head, how he speaks.
Does he kind of like a Lou Holtz prodigy? Like you see, does he do any of that or not really? Yeah, because Lou Holtz seemed like he would do some of that too.
Well, Holtz, but he didn't like it when David Pollack was telling him how good Georgia was. He didn't like that.
Pollock knew what he was doing when he did that.
Dude,
too,
Pollock was a stud.
He was a stud. I remember that. Matt remembers it better than anybody. Yeah. I remember watching that game.
All right, stay tuned, guys. We're going to take a break. We got Chuck with us for another segment. We can open the phone lines if you want to get in with us. 877-377-6963. More with Chuck Barrett on Halftime after this.
Tell a young boy about it.
2023 is finally here, and Red River Dodge of Heber Springs is here to help you start something new.
Like with the all-new redesigned Jeep Grand Cherokee, available in 2 or 3-row seating with all the luxury and safety features you love.
Or like a TRX with 700 horsepower. We guarantee that we have a vehicle that will fit your needs.
So for all your new Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep vehicles, visit us online at redriverdodge.com.
And remember, at Red River, we deliver during the Start Something New sales event.
I am not who you say I am.
I'm a pastor.
I am a caregiver.
I am a father.
I am a friend.
I'm a doctor.
Chances are someone you know and love is struggling with substance use disorder, but recovery is possible. Help starts when we stop stigma, view each other with compassion, and reach out for help. Call 1-800-622-HELP to get started. This message sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and supported by grant number 2018-AR-BX-K085 awarded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Thank Thank you from Art's Barbecue and Burgers for a successful year. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to shout out our amazing community of customers that we are grateful and thankful for, each and every one of you. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to continue to enjoy our best barbecue, burgers, all-you-can-eat catfish every Friday night, and of course, the great sides and desserts. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Art's Barbecue and Burgers on Rogers, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
Searching for a promising career change? Looking for an established company that pays competitively and values its team members? Then come be a part of the Beckert family. Beckert in Van Buren has immediate openings for production operators paying up to $29 an hour. Sundays are paid at time and a half, and night shift work has an added premium of $1 per hour. Applications are available 24/7 at Beckert, located off I-40 at Exit 3. Apply today.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
All right, Bud Walton Arena tomorrow, 6 o'clock on ESPN2. Of course, right here on ESPN Arkansas. And hitthatline.com. Arkansas hosting Alabama in the game of the week in the SEC. Of course, Chuck Barrett will be on the call. Chuck, the Hogs have beaten Alabama 5 straight times at Bud Walton Arena. Something tells me this one could be maybe a little bit tougher to get number 6.
Oh, it's going to be a tough game. You know, it's been interesting. Back in the day when Bud Walton Arena first opened, Alabama was about the only visiting team who could come in here and win. And then now Arkansas has won 5 straight over them in Bud Walton. So a lot of that's cyclical. This is a really good Alabama team. I mean, I've watched them quite a bit this year, and there have been games when I've watched them and I thought that team can win the national championship. And then there are other games I've watched them and I thought, they could lose in the first or second round. They could be an early exit again. But there's no doubt. I mean, there's big-time talent on that team. They've got a front line that won't quit. They do a lot of things really well around that rim, and they still shoot a lot of threes too. So, Arkansas is going to have to play well. Probably their best game of the year.
And we were just talking about the football conference being stacked. Man, this SEC basketball, it's not what it used to be. I mean, these games, it's tough to win all these games. I know it's tough to win on the road, but coming in. But so that being said, Chuck, what do you think these Razorbacks have to do to be able to beat? Do they need to play faster? I mean, obviously they need to shoot better, but what are a couple of the keys that you think they need to beat Alabama?
Well, it does start with shooting better. That's the only way you get points. I mean, you got to put the thing in the basket, and it starts there. I thought they got a lot of good looks at Auburn the other night. I don't think their execution was terrible. Obviously, it wasn't good enough to win, but I don't think it was terrible. They just missed a lot of shots. I mean, they missed shots from point-blank range. Now, to sit here and, analyze the numbers and tell you that this is exactly the –
Do you think it's just youth maybe pressing a little bit, Chuck?
Well,
yeah.
Part of it I think was the physicality of the game.
Yeah.
Part of it was maybe I'm going to tell you Auburn's a tough place to play. But my point is I think some of those things will fall at home. Yeah, if you watch the course of a season, a lot of those tip ins and missed layups that don't fall on the road always seem to fall at home. So I've got to believe that there's going to be a better shooting percentage in the game tonight. They need to force more turnovers. They need to force more live ball turnovers. If you're not going to be able to be a great shooting team, and you're not always going to be able to break down the zone, you're going to have to create some live ball turnovers and get baskets off that. They had 4 steals against Auburn. 2 of those were by Kamani Johnson. You got to defend better than that and force turnovers better than that. So those would be 2 things that I'd point to. And you're not going to shoot another team out of the zone. You got to break down that zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they did a pretty good job of that, despite the fact they missed so many shots. If those shots had fallen and they'd finished, they really did fundamentally a lot of the things you got to do to break down a zone. I don't know how much Alabama will do in that area. I'm assuming they're going to do some. But we'll just see how they do in that area tomorrow night. I've got a feeling if they continue to do some of the things they did anyway against Auburn, and even some of the things they did against LSU, and a lot of the things they did against Missouri, those shots, if they fall, I think they'll have some success.
All of Muss's teams in the last 2 years have fed off the energy at home, and maybe it's a little simplistic to say you can't do that on the road. So, I think Auburn is a different thing, just because 26-game winning streak means something. Arkansas is not the only team to lose there recently, but they look at how they got things going against Mizzou at home. Mizzou's a good team too. I don't think at the level of Alabama. I think they might be better than Auburn. But they feed off the energy. It just took a little bit of time to really get going against Mizzou. Against Alabama, I don't know if you can survive like a bad first 15 minutes.
Well, no, I don't think you can against Alabama, whether you're here or there. Right now, when you look at the league, Tennessee and Alabama are the 2 teams that have shown they can go on the road and win. I know Texas A&M won at Florida, but Florida, they're not quite what they've been. But you look at what Alabama's done so far, and you look at what Tennessee's done so far. They've gone on the road, no problem. Now, it's early. I mean, it's a very, very small sample size, and Alabama's going to be tested on the road tomorrow night like they haven't been maybe since the last time they were here. So it's going to change for them going along starting tomorrow night. But the team that wins this thing is going to have road wins. I mean, you just have to have them. And right now, Arkansas may become a team that wins road games. But so far right now, Tennessee and Alabama are the ones that have done it, and you kind of figure they're the best bets to keep doing it. But, Alabama's tested, they'll be tested here tomorrow night. Tennessee plays Vanderbilt. I'm not sure if that's in Knoxville or Nashville, but Tennessee's good enough to go win anywhere they play too.
Yeah, they play in Knoxville.
Okay, well that'll be pretty easy for them then.
I talked about this a bit yesterday. Like, coaches earn the way that we view them and their programs and their ability to, and maybe the case would be to say turn it around. Like with Dave Van Horn, those teams usually are playing very well when you get to May, and when they get into the tournament, they play well. That happened last year. It's happened mostly over the last 5, 6, 20 years. With Muss, they've got this sample of the last 2 years, struggling at the start of the conference play. Injuries were a reason in some cases, and he's always been able to find the right equation to lead to some really long winning streak. So that's the faith I have in this team, is that Muss has put together the team to do this, and he knows the strings to pull.
Well, there are some things that have to happen. Those 2 runs happened for reasons, and they put Trey Wade in last year, and one of the things they talked about was the fact that his unselfishness on offense and his ability to move without the ball. There's got to be more cutting. There's got to be less watching. You focus on the obvious things, like what somebody's doing with the ball. But, there's a way you break these teams down defensively. And, what we're doing as fans is watching the guy with the ball. But it's the other 4 spots that, sometimes a guy can be really valuable to your scoring without being a scorer, if that makes sense. And I think that those are the roles that some of these guys are going to have to fill. And they got to find somebody off the bench that's going to be able to do those things. But again, you're not going to outshoot a zone. They are not going to shoot a team out of the zone. They got to break them down.
No, you're right. And Pinion getting his minutes. I know he's young and he's freshman minutes. I think he's going to make a lot of big shots for the Razorbacks throughout his career. But he does that, Chuck. He goes over and sits in that corner of the zone, and he'll sit there the whole possession. It's like, bro, you got to run up and down the baseline and cut through and move around, because when you just stay snagged it right there, they know where you are.
Well, and I think probably all of them have fallen into
I'm not just picking
category.
on him, but yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think Pinion's a guy that's probably going to help him a lot at home. Auburn kind of took advantage of him defensively the other night, but I think there will be ball games where he will help him.
I agree. I think he's going to make a lot of big shots for in his Razorback career.
Chuck, we'll leave it there. We're up against the break. Always appreciate you coming on these Tuesdays. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Chuck.
You got it. Chuck Barrett. He'll have the most recent Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast tomorrow. And, of course, he'll be on the Morning Rush tomorrow as well. Meanwhile, our number 1 of halftime wraps up after this.
Come back to you. Hey, it will come back to you. Then the shadow falls. You see it all with me. It's your favorite foreign movie.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. That's it. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barling.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low-mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey! This is the day of the expanding man. That shape is my shame, there where I used to stand. It seems like only yesterday I gazed through the glass at ramblers, wild gamblers, that's all in the past. You call me a fool, you say it's a crazy.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Oh, we get football and birthday for music coming together. We're playing some Steely Dan because today is the 75th birthday of frontman Donald Fagen. And this song, Deacon Blues, involves a line about college football. He wanted a nickname. He said, I guess the nickname he wanted was going to be Deacon Blues. Say, I want the winners, they give something about the winners in the world. I want a nickname when I lose. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues. So you're getting a little college football in with that, too. People feel... you don't feel down the middle about Steely Dan. You either love him or you hate him.
They're awesome. How do you not
Huge
like
fan.
Steely Dan? Yeah, absolutely.
I know some people that would that are gagging right now.
Well, who
just
do they
listening
like
to
then?
this.
Yeah, well, it's
I
your
don't
own
know.
music. You got to listen to your own music, so I get it. Steely Dan rocks.
I agree. In a very smooth, sort of a jazzy way.
It's cool, FM 70s. Like you got your funk. Get the funk out of my face. You know, you got your shag carpet, you got the dice, you got the log Cadillac. I mean, you're going to an ABA game to watch Dr. J drop 47 on somebody. You know, you gotta love it.
Yeah. Hey 19. That's an
Bernard
all-timer
King.
right
Yeah,
there.
you're gonna go watch Bernard King play or Willie Stargell play. Where
I like where you're coming with this,
Yeah.
man. I mean, it's all those. It's the turn of the 70s into the 80s.
Man.
Yeah. It was just two guys.
It's got a
That was
vibe
it.
to it. Like it's got a straight, yeah.
And then I found this. I just did a search for some reason about Steely Dan just to see what would pop up, and a line with this L.A. Weekly from 2012. And the title of the article is "Steely Dan fans are assholes." That's an interesting little thing to wonder about some of those people, huh? I don't know, but I don't think you are, Matt. I think you're a pretty nice person.
You know, I enjoy your company as well.
Well, they call the Alabama the Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blues because he's a loser. All right. Well, we're going to get into the second hour in just a moment here, and there's lots to get. We don't have any guests for the rest of the show, and Clay Henry is out today. So 877-377-6963 to get with us. You guys, when we come back, I need you to update on who's the winner for our pick'em. Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet, because I'm feeling that weight of the Aldi quarter in my hand right now. But I don't know if I won or if I didn't. So we'll get into that. Calls and texts coming up as well. And lots to get to involved in the transfer portal. You got 38 days until the start of the college baseball season and a lot of basketball as well here on Halftime. So stay with us.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, Tin Layer Dip, Brisket Nachos, and Mexican Pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind everyone to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I'd also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify.
The homestead tax credit can save you up to $375 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. You might know us as your source for large Xerox multifunction or production printers. But for many of you, your needs have changed. Smaller equipment has become more necessary, and we are here to help. We carry the Xerox desktop models, but also brother workhorse printers and multifunctions with 3-year replacement warranties included. So give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document solutions to the River Valley.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment, not having enough home time, feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high this afternoon into the low 60s. We're looking at clouds, overnight lows in the mid-40s north, low 50s south. Wednesday, partial sunshine. Our highs in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Brewer to Jones for the slam. How about Matt Jones? Did he sky?
Weekdays from 11 to 2.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold your roll, hold your roll, hold your roll. I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold your roll, hold your roll. 1, 2, 3. Turn that down,
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Football National Championship decided yesterday, but the College Football Hall of Fame class also was released. I guess these things usually go together over the years. And a little bit of irony in this, that Mark Richt he's not inducted yet, but it was released yesterday. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame the same night that the program that he led for all those years wins their second national championship. And that
know that Mark Richt was the quarterback coach of Florida State when Charlie Ward was the quarterback there.
No kidding.
So I was watching that. So that's how long that he was a quarterback and he got there, and Charlie Ward threw 8 interceptions his first couple games, and then they'd get in this 2-minute offense and they started rocking, started rolling. And that's kind of what they went to, is that one of those first teams that kind of go to that hurry up, run and shoot that kind of everybody runs now.
Rick was there 15 years, averaged just under 10 wins per season, a couple of SEC championships, 5 division titles, but didn't get them into the playoff. And so Kirby Smart's the one that takes them to back-to-back national championships and now the preeminent program in college football. I mean, all those years that Rick was at Georgia, you had Florida was dominant for a while out of the East. That's also during the rise of Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide. He was not around for LSU's championship. He was there for Auburn's title. There were 3 SEC schools. Heck, 4. There were 4 because Saban won a title with LSU while Rick was there. 4 SEC schools, 1 national championships while Rick was at Georgia. And now, I mean, we're looking at Georgia. They're going to be the odds-on favorite to win it again next year. I would say, I'd have to go back and look at the preseason polls on a year-by-year basis. Now, Alabama was the front runner to start this season. They usually are. They were the heaviest odds-on favorite going into next year, going into the following year. So much of that, I believe, has to do with
Bryce Young.
Well, yes, I think it had to do with Bryce Young and him being.
He was returning guy.
Well, the guy that won the Heisman, and Will Anderson Jr. and all of that. The wide receivers turned out to be not really as good as I think we were used to for Crimson Tide football recently. But I also think part of that was this narrative that we had followed about teams that stay on top. When you're a dominant program, you're expected to be on top the next year. I don't think we felt the same way about LSU after they won the 2019 championship. That was not the going theory. I mean, you kind of had a sense that might be a one-off thing, and it was.
And they lost their quarterback and those receivers. That was it. I think Georgia, just their body, who they are as a team and their identity, and based on that they are this defensive football team, I'm with you. I think they'll be favored in every game next year, and maybe it'll take till the SEC championship game before they get beat next year.
Yeah. Honestly, looking at the schedule for next year, unless they trip up at Tennessee, which could happen. They
got to go to Tennessee.
They go to Tennessee.
Josh Heupel, I'm a fan of his. Tennessee will be fine. Yeah, they'll still be good next year. I don't know. I mean, it's that. Yeah, they have a lot of talent as well.
Just looking through the rest of the list of the people, players, and coaches that have been elevated into the College Football Hall of Fame. Reggie Bush.
Do you think he should get his Heisman back? I mean, are we over it now? Like, can we give the kid back his Heisman? Is it still in USC Trojan? Is it still there? Like, because we all know he was the Heisman Trophy winner.
I think he had to return the trophy. He had to actually return the trophy to the New York Athletic Club.
Wow.
And they would give it back to him if the NCAA were to say, yeah, you can give it back to me. He can still be the Heisman Trophy winner. You know, I mean. So I think, honestly, sure, yes, he belongs. He was the best player in college football that year. He broke rules when they were still rules. I mean, that's another aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, he 100% he should be in the College Hall of Fame. And I was looking at some of that list, too. Luke Kuechly might have had a better NFL career than he did college career. That dude was unbelievable. And, remember old Duke Snyder at Kansas State? With Michael Bishop, the quarterback there, if you remember him running around a little bit. I think Darian Sproles was the running back on that Kansas State team, and they were pretty good for a couple years.
D'Angelo Williams is going into the College Football Hall of Fame. That's right.
He was my class, Phil, coming out for high school, and you had a guy named Cedric Houston that went to Tennessee. You had a guy named De'Arius Howard that went to Arkansas, and you had a guy, D'Angelo Williams, that went to Memphis. All three of those running backs were like parade All-American. Arkansas can put out some running backs.
Yeah, the pride of Wynn, Arkansas. I know we got a couple callers on hold. Just to finish the list here, Tim Tebow, I guess.
I thought he was already in, yeah.
Yeah, how long you got to wait, right? Let's see, Jeremy Macklin, Roy Kramer. I didn't realize, and now I know Kramer was the longtime commissioner of the SEC. I'd forgotten he was a head coach. They're putting him in as a head coach for Central Michigan. I don't know if he's going in as the former commissioner of the Southeastern Conference.
Western Michigan, yeah.
No, the Central Michigan is the Chips.
Yeah.
Western Michigan's the Broncos. What's Eastern Michigan? I can't remember what EMU is. Anyway, that's some too much Michigan stuff. Dwight Freeney going in. He played at Syracuse.
Another guy that had one of those careers that was almost better in the NFL. But one of my favorites, Phil, the triple option guru, Paul Johnson. He was at Georgia Tech, but I grew up running the triple option since I could walk, and that's that. So that's just kind of what I saw and knew. I love watching his teams play. He would have a sheet. So we talk about these sheets that having these complex playbooks. It's like there's like 4 plays on the play sheet. We know what we're running. You saw what was it where they say Sunshine? You had Denzel Washington and the football movie. Remember the Titans? He's like, It's like Novocaine. Just give it time and it'll work. We're running the same 3 plays all the time.
And here's another name that's in the news. Maybe not, for the best reasons. Troy Vincent, of course, longtime NFL defensive back and former Wisconsin Badger. And now I forget his title, but he's practically second in charge behind Roger Goodell for the NFL. And he's under the gun right now for potentially, there was a story I read on ESPN this morning that there's a disconnect between what Vincent has said, that the NFL had no interest in resuming that Bengals-Bills game in which DeMar Hamlin, had his heart stop on the field. And there are some folks that were like, look, this thing took an hour for them to hash this out. And the only reason that they think that it took an hour to hash it out is because there was some pressure coming from the league office at that meeting that the two coaches had.
Absolutely. There was, Phil. I told you about the soccer player that did. He almost died right there his heart stopped, and they went back out there and 90 minutes later and finished the second half of the soccer game. There's too much money involved. They just moved, and I was telling a buddy about Phil, I was at practice, and there's 3 practice fields. And you have a guy get hurt, break his leg. He's out for the year in a practice play. You know what coach does? He blows the whistle, and we all go to the next practice field and continue practice like within 12 seconds. Like, they don't care, man. It's just next guy up, let's go. And it's like, hey, I hope you're well, but, man, your leg's broke. Sorry, we got to go over here and practice. It didn't take 2 seconds to do that. So I guarantee you they were wanting to come out there and play that game.
People are interested in knowing whether or not the NFL actually did try to get that game started. And Vincent is saying that they had no interest in resuming the game. I wonder if he's being honest about that. All right, callers on hold. But congratulations to Troy Vincent for making the College Football Hall of Fame. Yeah. Cecil from Fort Smith. Been a minute since we had you here, Cecil. So I think that must mean it's basketball season. How are you?
Hey, Corey just came by my shop, and he told me to pick a ticket. You can only get one, so I got the Kentucky game, March the 4th. We sit behind the bench. But, hey, I want to give a shout-out to my natural homeboy, Matt Jones. I played for Northside. Me and Raven Caldwell, we played linebackers. I got in a little trouble and went to prison. But, Matt, I just want to say, hey, brother, I love you.
Well,
you're a hell of an athlete. You was a hell of an athlete, dude, and I respect you to the utmost. You are the best athlete ever came through Northside High School. You're a decathlon athlete. No one has ever done it like you.
Man,
I was really good in football, but I went to prison. I made mistakes, and I just want to let you know. Hey, I've been trying to call for about a year. I just had the wrong number in the phone. But I'm a diehard Razorback fan. But when I was in this joint, and I used to watch you play, man, you was so amazing, dude.
I was talking about Justin Caldwell the other day. I played with him and some of the old memories.
Yeah, you played with Justin. My son played with you, Cecil Gardner. He played with you, too.
Yeah. How do you think the Hogs are going to be tomorrow against Alabama?
I think we'll be okay, man. We just need to get our outside shooting, we're not shooting that great out there, but we actually have a good team.
Right.
And to have two, Tim and what's his name? Brazil?
Yeah, Trevin.
Is that his name?
Yeah, Trevion Brazil, yeah.
Hey, they say he was like a Kevin Durant. When I watched him play, he was like Kevin Durant. I really hate he got hurt. Actually, I hate both of them are hurt. But I don't think Tim is ever going to play for Arkansas again, no. I mean, it's just a business thing now. But anyway, I'm going to get off. Hey,
real quick. No, hold on one moment here. Don't leave, Cecil. And hold on one moment here. I am very interested to know what phone number have you been calling when you thought you were trying to get to the station. Who answered the phone and what did they tell you?
Hold on. Let me look. I had one number wrong.
Put the phone number out on the air.
And I just heard it. Because, look, I had one number wrong. And so I actually heard you say it very clearly. I was coming out of Van Buren just minutes ago. And I wrote that joker down. And I said, let me call y'all, because I used to call in every day. The guys from
Cecil, I remembered your name. I remember this voice. And I was
I know you do. I know you do. And I appreciate it, too. We won a championship in Northside in 1980. It's up on the stadium. But, boy, man, I tell you, boy, I love you. And keep up whatever you're doing. Keep up the great work.
You too,
and I'll never forget you, man, because you are one of the greatest. Believe that.
Well, I love you back, and thank you for your kind words, man.
Thanks very much, Cecil. And just so you remember, 877-377-6963. I have a phone number, and I'm not going to put it out of my own phone number, and I've had this number for 21 years, is one number off from the emergency room of a Veterans Administration hospital somewhere in this state. I have been getting one-digit incorrect, wrong number phone calls for the last 21 years for people that are trying to reach someone who is sick. You know that I'm a bit of a smartass?
Right.
I'm extremely nice to everybody that's calling with the wrong number. So, Cecil, it's happened to the show. It happens to me like on a daily basis. So I appreciate you doing that and listening so you got the right number. Here's somebody who always has the right number. It's Charlie. Charlie, you've never dialed the wrong number here on Halftime, and here you are again. How you doing?
I actually have, Phil, but I corrected it.
Well, that was your opportunity to say, yeah, you're perfect.
But I corrected it. No, I'm far from that. I corrected it right away. I got the number memorized in my brain. Well, I don't have it saved in my phone, but I have it so memorized in my brain that I can just type it in my phone. A lot of times I'll do 877-677-6963. That's happened a lot, actually. It's pretty common. But then I'm like, no, wait a minute, that's wrong. It's 377. So anyway, but no, man, that's a great call. I never heard that guy either. All love to Matt, I guess, right, Phil?
Man, there's a lot of good times at Northside High School, man. There's a lot of great players. They've got a proud tradition over there.
Well, and I was going to say, you know, I had a coach that I think either played there, but it was back in the day. You may not know him. But I was going to say, man, like, comparison to Southside, you know, I know it's a little – how big is that rivalry, too? And then, like, I guess what I was going to say, they're both 7A, right?
Yeah, they had old Lunny. So Lunny used to be the coach at Southside for a little bit, and since then I don't know if they've been as good. We used to whoop Southside, man. When I was at Van Buren or Northside, we'd always whoop Southside.
Well, I tell you, the head coach at Brian right now is still in 7A every year, and I played for him in high school, so good luck taking it away from my old guy until he
Bryant, dude, they got some Van Buren coaches, I think, on that staff down there. Yeah, man, they've been killing it.
I'm not surprised who Bucko brought in, but I tell you, Coach James is one of the best coaches I played for, and he would give so much freedom to all his assistants. But on Monday when he would come out of that big bad field house, we was fixing to work. It's gonna be a long day. Let me be real quick. I know you're up against it here, about to get to the break. Tomorrow, big test, guys. Matt, in your opinion, I was going to ask you, man, I like our chances tomorrow because I even looked at the odds. I mean, they got us winning. I mean, and I think it's the home court thing, obviously. But I tell you what, I ain't going to just go in there. I wish, actually, we were underdogs in the game. Alabama's going to see that and be like, what? Are they kidding me? But I get the whole, you know, when you're at home, you know, it gives you a little more confidence. It gives the people who are picking these games a little more confidence to pick the home team. We all know how great Arkansas is in Bud Walton. But I wanted to ask you, you know, when you get out to the starts that we have, and even the Missouri game, even though we've won, if something like that were to happen tomorrow night, could you see them? I can still see them making a run coming back. But if they got down if they got down close to 20, I don't know if I could. I know basketball is a game of runs. I get all that. But it would be tough only because I feel like Alabama's just hard to – man, they can make threes. They can do it all, man. And I've watched them play. They're really good. They're close to being undefeated. Now, granted, they're close to losing a couple of games too. This is a legit team that we're playing tomorrow. We got a shot. We're going to have to play our best. Oh, I'm just.
I agree with
my
you.
Nerves tomorrow.
Absolutely, we can win this game.
My nerves are going to be shot tomorrow. I'm going to tell y'all what, because when I get off at 5:30, I'm probably just going to have to go home because I know how important this game is. I think this. I'm not saying it's a must-win. I don't want to say that. I never want to say that, but you got to protect home court in this league, and it's going to be tough down the stretch with our schedule at the end of the year. So this is a big one tomorrow, and it's going to be hard to win, but I hope we just find a way, and I don't care how we do it. Ugly, pretty, sexy, whatever you want to call it. Just get a W, baby. Go Hawks. I'll talk to y'all later.
Good to hear from you, Charlie. Thank you. One thing that does worry me about Alabama, there's a lot that should worry you about Alabama.
Right, they're good.
They are a balanced scoring team. Balanced. You know, they score on every level. They've got three-point shooters. They average about 10 threes a game. They get to the foul line, 18 made free throws per game. Arkansas is reliant so heavily on getting to the rim and the mid-range jumper that if you don't make your free throws, the three-pointers are not there for this team, and that is one thing that worries me. You can defend well against Alabama. They still find ways to get over 75 points in almost every single game this year. And for Arkansas, getting to 75 right now is a little bit of a problem. In SEC games, they've scored no more than 74. So I think you're going to have to pick things up on the offensive side because Alabama's going to score some points. 877-377-6963. Let's break. And want to remind you about Cheap Sleep Furniture and Mattresses, home of the largest same-day selection. You see it, you get it. No waiting. Cheap Sleep's been locally owned for the past 17 years. They feature great customer service, and they overstock with up to 75% off retail prices all year. Serta, Sealy, Beauty Rest mattresses. That's just some of the name brands you'll see at Cheap Sleep Furniture and Mattresses. A wide variety of couch and love seats starting at $8.99. There are prices that you cannot find anywhere else. Same as cash, no credit needed for financing. That's Cheap Sleep Furniture and Mattresses. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Conway, and Fort Smith, and on the web at cheapsleepnow.com. We'll come back with more halftime after a very quick break.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisol.
Community, where you create a home, you shop, you play, you cheer. At Wave Rural Connect, we live in the same community as you. You might see our employees in the grocery store, at the park, maybe the ball game. Wave Rural Connect is here to enable this community that we love with fast fiber internet, TV, and phone right here in your town, along with friendly local customer service. Go to waveruralconnect.com or call us at 1-833-4WAVE-RC to find out more. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. You might know us as your source for large Xerox multifunction or production printers. But for many of you, your needs have changed. Smaller equipment has become more necessary, and we are here to help. We carry the Xerox desktop models, but also brother workhorse printers and multifunctions with 3-year replacement warranties included. So give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document solutions to the River Valley.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
last in summer, you can see it fading fast. So you grab a piece of something that you think is gonna last. Well, you wouldn't even know a diamond if you held it in your hand. The things you think are precious, I can't understand. Are you reeling in the years, stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine? Are you reeling in the years?
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I know we had a text in earlier from someone that wanted to know about Isaac Tesla. I don't know if I'm saying his name properly, because this is a different last name. He's a Division II wide receiver that has become one of the most sought-after players in the transfer portal. 6'4", 210 pounds. And I don't have the name of the school he'd been playing at, but it was a Division II school. And Arkansas is zeroed in on him. He's supposed to be making a decision today. And I do not see that he has made a decision. So if that does hit, we'll get it to you when we're on the air on halftime today. You see Jalen Catalon announcing he's going to be a Texas Longhorn. He's a Texas kid, if I remember correctly. So that possibly is not that much of a surprise, though. It's jarring, though. I know if you're a Razorback fan to see a former team captain now a member of the Texas Longhorns. But, hopefully it works out for Catalon. I'd just like to see if he could stay healthy, because he hasn't been fully healthy more than 1 year out of the past, I think, 4 years. Like, he was even injured his last season in high school, had a knee injury. And, we obviously know the shoulder situation for him, too. So hopefully he's able to stay on the field for the Longhorns, because it didn't happen very much the last 2 years at Arkansas. Outside of that, as far as the portal's concerned, no other things to tell you about involving Arkansas. I was just looking at some of the numbers here. Arkansas losing 24 of their 42 sacks. These are either players that are going to the NFL or have transferred away. And you thought Jordan Dominic might be a guy you could count on for this team, but he goes into the transfer portal too. Zach Williams is the leading returning sacker, 4.5. Pooh Paul after him, 4. Remember, Paul, that 4 sacks without even, getting a full season's worth of snaps. And then Landon Jackson. I think there's a lot more for the last 2 players there I'd mentioned. Pooh Paul can rush the quarterback. He's fast. And I think we only saw a little bit of what Landon Jackson can do. I think he was dealing with an injury for a chunk of the season. But his ability to speed rush hopefully pays dividends next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a new look defense next year. New. I don't know how much new scheme's going to come in, but we got 2 new defensive coordinators. You're going to have a lot of new players. Lost a lot over the last couple of years, and I was a fan of Barry Odom. I thought he was a heck of a coach. So it's some shoes to fill. But 6-6 ended up 7-6. We got to get better. So that transfer portal and Phil, I don't know as much about the spring window that we were talking about yesterday, but we got to get. You said we got 8 scholarships left. It'd be nice to find a receiver if we could, and then get a couple more guys on that defensive side of the ball, because we're gonna have to play defense to win in this league. You saw Georgia last night in their defense. You got to be able to fly around and play defense.
Yeah, you do have that extra 15-day transfer portal. That looks like it is, if this story off Football Scoop from October is correct, and I think it is, April 15th through April the 30th.
I think the name might be Spanish, or was it like Tisala or something? Or am I adding it? It looked like it could be Mexican.
Well, it's even. There's even a different spot where there's an extra capitalized letter.
Yeah.
So again, I don't really know how to pronounce. I would assume it's just Tesla, but it's capital T-E, capital S-L-A-A. It's a different word. Played at Hillsdale College. He also had an official visit to Colorado. A lot of players seem to want to play for Dion, right? So we'll see what happens. And I think he's supposed to announce his intention of where he's going to play today. There's going to be an opportunity for this kid and anybody else that decides to, any other wide receiver.
He looks like a tight end. He looks
tight end.
When I look at him, Phil,
really?
I think he could. I don't know what he wants to do, Phil, but when I look at him, 6'4", 200, he could probably, you put him on 6'4", 230. I mean, that's good enough to be. How big was Trey Knox this year? Trey Knox was what, 6'2"?
He got up to 235, I think.
But he's a little bit shorter, right? Yeah. For that new hybrid tight end that we like, that not necessarily right at the point of attack of running, but being able to be more athletic than the linebackers. So I like it.
I also think you're going to need to look at more, losing Dominic and the idea that I think this team wants to play. Well, Sam Pittman, I think, just judging by the things that he had said going into the bowl game, I expect that you're going to see a lot of 4-down linemen. If not, that's just the case of the way your alignment's going to work out. You probably need a little more depth on the defensive line. I think they're going to go after a defensive end. You need wide receivers. You already have one wide receiver, Andrew Armstrong, coming in from the FCS program, A&M Commerce. Wouldn't it be interesting if two of your leading receivers one of them was an FCS guy the year before, and the other could be a Division II transfer. But this is the day and age of college football. You've got 7 incoming transfers signed, and plenty of time to try to sign a few more. I think it might be 11 scholarships available right now. So you might leave a couple, 3, 4 maybe for the spring transfer window. But right now, wide receiver, tight end, defensive line for Arkansas. You've worked in the secondary with Walcott and Johnson, the 2 guys from Baylor coming in. You got a linebacker, could end up being one of your starters, and Antonio Greer, but need a little more on the defensive line, and I think a little bit more at wide receiver. 877-377-6963 if you got any thoughts on that. Duggan Mountain Home wants Georgia-style tight ends. I don't know if there's another tight end in the country quite like Brock Bowers.
Dude, that's an NFL player.
Dude.
Yeah. You just tell and that in route he kept running and Stetson's throwing that on time. Man, that's fun right there. Just before he makes his cut in between the safety and the linebacker, man, it was fun to watch.
And Washington, the other tight end for them, I remember thinking, man, they got Eric Gilbert. Remember Gilbert, LSU, Florida, then Georgia. I don't even think Gilbert got on the field. He's back in the transfer portal, and he's talented, but he's had a lot of trouble getting on the field, staying on the field, and I think he said he might have taken it was a mental health break during the last season. So hopefully he's able to figure things out and get on the field for whomever it is that decides to pick him up. All right, we'll break here on halftime. Come back, get into some college baseball, which is 38 days away, and it's halftime.
And rub my eyes. The last 3 days, and the rain was unstoppable. It was always cold, no sunshine. Yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery, going wherever it leads. Running down a dream.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, and football is in the air, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab.
.com. Proud sponsor.
Oh, sácale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Music played, you walk by candlelight. Those San Francisco nights were the best in town. Just by chance you crossed the diamond with the pearl. You turned it on the world. That's when you turned the world around. Did you feel like Jesus? Did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes?
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
It is 38 days away from the start of the college baseball season, and we are 6 weeks away from the first home game of the year, which will be a Tuesday afternoon. Kickball and Walker. Of course, Arkansas baseball opens up on the road against the Texas Longhorns at the Texas Ranger Stadium, Globe Life Field, which if you get a chance to get out there for it, do it. It's a fantastic baseball park. They really did it the right way. And there's a very good chance that Arkansas will be playing in that stadium on a nearly annual basis. You never have to worry about weather. And in the middle of February, you usually have to worry about weather in college baseball, but you don't at that place. Heck, in 21, we played through a snowstorm or right after a snowstorm. They did have to delay the tournament for a day because I think the whole water system in the Dallas area and in Arlington was shut down. and people couldn't quite get there. But you can play in snow in Dallas if it ever does. So I think they're going to be playing games there quite often in the foreseeable future. We got a text in here. Who sent this text in? Wanted to know what I think the starting rotation is going to look like. JR and Peel asked about this. What do you project as the weekend rotation? I have a hard time thinking that you're not going to see Hagen Smith potentially starting the first Friday of the season. So, I mean, you go into like the idea, the starting rotation the first weekend quite often is not the starting rotation in week 8 or 9. Things change sometimes because some guys just aren't quite ready for it. But I do think when the rotation opens up that you're going to see Hagen Smith, Jackson Wiggins, Brady Tygart. I do wonder, and this is, I've told you, I'm going to try to do this. I don't know if I can. For the next 38 days, one thing I know and one thing I don't know about Arkansas baseball for 2023. I don't know where Will McIntyre fits into the rotation just yet. I do feel like he'll have a chance because somebody's going to falter at some point in the starting rotation on a weekend. Very well could end up seeing Will as the Tuesday, Wednesday guy to start the season. He's going to get an opportunity at some point to pitch against an SEC team on the weekend. As good as he looked in the College World Series, as good as Will looked against Auburn in Auburn, they're going to give him that opportunity. The only thing is, I mean, he's throwing harder than before, but he doesn't light up that radar gun the way that Smith and Wiggins and Brady Tygart do. So I just don't know where he fits into the rotation just yet.
When you say Tuesday, Wednesday guy, Phil, can you explain that to me? Are they always a 4-game series, or how does it work where what you want your aces and studs going? Or how?
We play the weekend series, the 3-game series, usually Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Some of the SEC series are Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So your best starting pitcher is usually going to be, like 9 times out of 10, college teams start their best pitcher on a Friday night.
Okay.
You know, and I think Hagen Smith will be that guy to start the season. The Tuesday, Wednesday games,
are they non-conference games?
Those are always non-conference games. That's where you're going to throw somebody that in some cases, well, a lot of cases, is one of the younger pitchers. You know, and I like Will, I think, can do he can pitch in any role. It's just that he's a really smart pitcher. The kind of and you need that fourth starter. I mean, the fourth starter is a really important part of a college baseball team. You know, maybe more in the postseason than in the regular season, but you got to give him innings. So I think Will may end up being the starter, you know, on a Tuesday, Wednesday at some point. But you know, the other pitchers just have more dominant stuff. Doesn't always mean they're
good though.
pitch
Competition,
as well.
Yeah. Let's compete. So that's good. You start there, and you know you can go up and like you said, Phil, it's a long year. There's a lot of things a lot of golf to play.
Well, yes, there is. I forgot to mention Hunter Holland's name. I brought him up yesterday. Holland's a guy that very well could start on the weekend. I just haven't seen him enough. I've heard enough about him to know that a long left-hander who's 6'5" and is throwing upwards of 96 miles an hour, if not a little bit faster than that, like you're going to get an opportunity to start. It's just with the track record from Hagen Smith last year, I think he'll get that first opportunity. Wiggins, as I've already said, is a bit of a wild card. Like he's got the stuff to go out and be the best pitcher in the country. He's just got to be able to show it on not a game-by-game basis, but really like an a batter-by-batter basis. He's been a little bit inconsistent. One thing I do know, or that I feel like I know, is that Brady Tygart could be a dominant starting pitcher this year for Arkansas with usage of his changeup. We didn't see it very much last year because he was pitching in relief, and he didn't feature that changeup very often. But Matt Hobbs had said it, Dave Van Horn had said it. As much as we talk about Brady Tygart's curveball, which is a fantastic pitch, if he's going to be a starter, then he's going to utilize what they say is a very good changeup too. And a lot of the guys I brought up, like a Hagen Smith, like a Hunter Holland, left-handers, you still need to have a righty ready to go. And whether it's going to be Wiggins or Tigert as a starter, either one of them, should have the chance and the stuff to go out and be dominant at times. I think Brady probably is better suited to pitching as a starter than in relief and as a closer, which he did most often last year.
It's interesting with your mindset because when you're going in as a starter, you kind of a creature of habit, or you have your routine, and then some guys, when you're not a starter, it's just like they call you and the bell rings and you get up and you go. And so and some people like it both ways.
The only way that you're allowed to, and you're right about that, as a starting pitcher, there's like a routine to the week. There's a whole routine to that week. Mondays are almost the same for you. Tuesdays are the same for you. You go out and throw your bullpen a certain day, the same time every week. But you have, in order to keep that rhythm, you got to go out and pitch well every weekend. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, Dave and Matt will make a change. There are enough talented pitchers on this team that you don't have to keep putting somebody on the mound as a starter on a weekend just because they've got the stuff and just because that's the way you thought they would pitch to start the season. They're not going to just wait around for somebody to find the strike zone. They're not going to wait around for somebody to learn how to feature a third pitch as a starting pitcher. There's other guys on this pitching staff that are going to get that opportunity. So there's one thing I feel like I know, one thing that I'm not quite sure about, and I know I'm pretty sure that most people listening here are pretty fired up about the start of the college baseball season because it is 38 days away. And, yes, I've been counting down for a while. Let's see. JR says he'll believe Wiggins is different if he's 3-0 after his first 3 SEC starts. Forget about the record, JR. I just want to see that he's throwing more strikes and get that batting average against down. I think with Wiggins, you just can't figure it out why somebody that throws routinely 99 to 100 miles an hour and has a good changeup and has a good breaking ball, has the ball hit as hard as it gets hit off of him sometimes. But, every once in a while, and this is the guy that could take the biggest jump forward, is Jackson Wiggins. Because if you throw 100 miles an hour, you have that opportunity to take a step forward. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for somebody to figure it out. 877-377-6963 for any thoughts on that.
Phil, baseball players always had the prettiest girlfriends. So that's
not football players.
Tip of the hat to the baseball players. No, I mean football players. They definitely we're not the prettiest guys. We're probably not fishing for the same fish. But no, tip of the hat to the baseball players.
That's good. Well, Matt Jones said it, so that's true as far as I'm concerned. Matt Jones also says we got to wrap up hour number 2, so we'll get to that after this.
Feel all right. Feel all right. I feel all right. Feel all right.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sportsbook in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come Get You Some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Van Alma Tire Center is always right around the corner from you with all the major brand tires for you to choose from. Bridgestone, Firestone, Cooper, and more. Turn into Van Alma Tire Center for all your tire needs, alignments, oil changes, brakes, and more. With service you can depend on. Van Alma Tire Center is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle and tire needs. Right around the corner at 6805 Alma Highway, 5 miles east of Van Buren and 2 miles west of Alma.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com. Fishing never stops. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle has everything from jigs to raincoats, Todd Huckabee crappie rods, Bobby Garland crappie jigs, and stay warm and dry with a River West rain suit, the area's largest selection of Zoom plastics, Flash Mob Jr., Kitech swim baits, Mega Bass rods, plus rattle traps, life jackets, and rod and reel repair. Find all the top brands and everything you need at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 1 mile east of I-540 on Highway 64. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Fast feet, I put my water on a bad seat. I'm so effective, so dramatic. I won't forget about it. Okay, now I'm the only one. Last week, I flew around like a hero.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2 here. Hey, what's going on with my soup over here? Did you guys know that I'm actually doing a little cooking show on the side?
I could
today?
smell it from here.
Yeah,
It smells good.
You could smell this chicken soup. I'm Julia Child and Jim Rome just rolled into one today.
Just don't call me Jim Everett.
I don't
call
have
me
a
Chris.
table.
Sorry, yeah, don't call me Chris Everett.
I don't know if I'd be able to throw the table aside quite like that, Matt. You could. Yeah.
That was so awkwardly funny. I remember that when that came out, but I won't rewatch that again another day. That's some.
That's the moment that made Jim Rome.
It just
I don't know what's the moment that made Julia Child. It's probably when Dan Aykroyd fake beating her and says, "Oh, I cut the Dickens out of my finger." Thankfully, I've not cut the Dickens out of my finger today. This chicken soup, the kids requested it, so I'm home all week. Don't have a game to worry about. Don't have to travel anywhere, so I'm trying to feed them properly. Last night, I'm learning how to cook, man. I'm doing well with this. We did country style ribs, which I didn't even realize until yesterday that country style ribs aren't ribs. It's the shoulder. I had no idea. They just look like long ribs and taste like shoulder meat. Made homemade mac and cheese, and it was gobbled up. Kids loved it all, so they said they wanted chicken soup, and I'm like, all right, I'm making chicken soup. Boil a whole chicken. Started that at 7:30 in the morning. The house smells wonderful. And now I got my stock just sitting in the refrigerator waiting to chill, and I can skim the fat off when the show is done, and I can throw in the vegetables, simmer all that stuff for about 4 hours, and voila. Who wants to come over for dinner tonight?
Man, it sounds good. I love some. Do you put any rice or any cornbread, or what kind of noodle do you use as far as your breads would substitute?
My mother asked me this morning if I was going to make matzo balls. That sounds like a little bit too much effort for me today. So I'm not making matzo ball. Have you ever had matzo ball soup, Matt? You ever
I have.
had matzo ball?
I think they made some at that River City Bistro here in town.
Yes, they do. That's right.
Yeah, I love some soup, Phil. Like I feel like when I get older, I'm going to eat like an 80-year-old woman, just dill pickle soup for the rest of my life. You know, like it's just easy on my stomach. Keep it light, keep it right. You know,
and you can take your teeth out and eat it at the same time.
You know, you don't just wake up and look like this, man. This is hard work that goes into this.
Well, I told myself I'm not taking them to a restaurant while I'm home this week. Just not going to happen, because I'm going to spend all my restaurant money on birthday day on Saturday.
And soup's expensive if you go out to the restaurant and eat it. Like, you can make a big pot of soup for what it costs for one bowl of soup at the restaurant, man. Soup gets expensive.
So you're a soup guy. You live in a state where it can get up to like 110 degrees. Do you eat soup in the summer? And I'm not talking gazpacho.
Yeah. No. If I'm sick, I will always go. There's a little Mexican joint down the road, and they make this chicken tortilla soup that I will go with some avocados in it and the rice. I mean, and it's like $6.99. It's the best. So when you're not feeling well, I always go get some. But it's too hot. I can't eat the warm. Yeah, it's tough for me sometimes. I eat a lot of salad.
Grandma Lil always told us that soup can heal you. So I remember feeling. I told you this the other day, Matt. I remember doing it. I was with the Travelers. We were in Corpus Christi. I felt like crap. And there was a Thai restaurant just down the street.
Great soup.
Went over, ordered soup, had a big bowl. Of course, what number? You get your number for Thai spicy, right? I said, let's go 4. I went with 4. At that restaurant, 4 was like 25 spicy.
This is coming out of your nose. You blow your nose.
Hurt.
Yeah.
The top of my head was sweating. And I barely made it through the ball game. We had 90-second commercial breaks. I will tell you what, I needed 5-minute commercial breaks. That was
I had the penguin shuffle, the Matty T penguin shuffle.
Exactly right. That was a rough day. Today's soup is not going to do that. We're not spicing it up at all. Spicy level -20. Third hour of halftime after the break. Phone calls and texts at 877-377-6963. Julia Child and Jim Rome coming right back.
With everyday low prices on top brands, locally owned Yeager's Ace Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these great deals at any of our 4 locations. Buy 3, get 1 free Ace pleated air filters. 10-pack bird suet or 5-pound black oil sunflower seed, $8.99 each. And check out our everyday low prices on all heaters. Find more everyday low prices online at YeagersHardware.com. Yeager's Ace Hardware, offering real service with real savings.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
With over 8,000 square feet of all the latest trends in lighting and plumbing fixtures, Great House Fixtures has all the brands you know and love, such as Visual Comfort Lighting and Delta Faucets. Their experienced staff can help you design and select the perfect fixtures for your uniquely you home, including sinks, tubs, faucets, custom showers, indoor and outdoor lighting, chandeliers, mirrors, hardware, and more. Make your house a great house. Learn more at greathousefixtures.com, located on 0th Street in Fort Smith. Great House Fixtures by J&B Supply.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, partly to mostly sunny skies. Our high this afternoon into the low 60s. We're looking at clouds, overnight lows in the mid-40s north, low 50s south. Wednesday, partial sunshine. Our highs in the upper 60s to near 70 degrees. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
For Ruskin and Zach, it's just not quite fair to listen to Ty crack a beer while on the air.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I put my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down,
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, taking up to 2 o'clock here on the third and final hour of halftime on a Tuesday. Calls and texts come in at 877-377-6963. See, we do have a signing of Carlos Correa. Sources say this, so I'm not going to believe that he's signed an actual contract until there's a press release announcing it and a real press conference with him actually wearing the uniform. Never seen anything like this before. He's the last big free agent that has been available, and he's been signed now 3 times by 3 different teams.
Physical? What's going on? That they're not letting him his attitude, or have they not done their research? That seems odd, Phil.
No, I don't think it's attitude. I mean, remember the Dodgers said they wouldn't go after him because they thought their fans would hate them for it. Because of his connection to the sign stealing scandal with the Astros.
Understandable.
The Giants didn't worry about that very much. I don't remember the money figures. I think it was a 13-year deal that they had expected to sign him to. It's an ankle injury that occurred while he was in the minor leagues. But it's an injury that I don't think has ever caused a problem while he's been in the majors. I mean, it was a major reconstructive ankle surgery in the minor leagues, but it hasn't prevented him from being, one of the top shortstops in the game for a number of years now.
Is the game changed so much that you don't really need the speed on the base pass as much? It doesn't seem like there's as many stolen bases as there used to be.
Well, that's coming back this year.
It's coming back?
This year specifically. Yeah, it really will.
I like the game when they're stealing bases, hitting and run, stealing bases. It seems like it just – I don't know if methodical is the right word, but it kind of got too much by the book, or let's play it safe, or let's just have our guy here. It's like – are the catchers just getting that good at throwing people out, like our field goal kickers are kicking field goals?
What it turned into is that managers and front office types are valuing their outs a little bit differently than they did before. It's all about hitting home runs, man. I mean, that's all it's about. They don't care if they strike out; they'll walk or hit a home run, and they don't want anybody putting one of those 3 outs in jeopardy, 3 outs for the inning by trying to steal a base. Because if you steal the base, that's still no guarantee that you come in to score. You still need somebody to knock you in.
And you got to play defense so much differently, though, with the runner on second, I feel like. The whole right side of the infield moves them over to third. I mean, there's just so many ways to play the game instead of just let's strike out or hit home runs. That's what I guess that's what I was kind of – it's like, man, it's just too much. It's
coming back this year, so I'd be interested. I mean, watch some Major League games in April. And you're going to be able to tell a major difference because of a few things that are popping up in the game this year. And I think eventually the college game has to follow. Like I'd heard from, I think it was the pitch clock operator who also operates the timeout coordinator for basketball games at Bud Walton. He does the same job at Baum Walker operating the pitch clock. So he's got to be on top of things now. In Major League, they did it with the minors this last year. Major League Baseball is instituting it too, where what's the second count? Is it 19 seconds?
From the time the pitcher gets the ball back from the catcher or from the time the ball hits the pitcher's mitt? When does the shot clock?
The moment the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher with no one on base, he'll have 19 seconds to throw the pitch. Not for it to arrive in the catcher's hand, not for him to start his motion. He has 19 seconds to let go of the ball. With a man on base, he'll have 14 seconds. But it's not just the pitcher that has to be quick about moving the game along. It's the batter, too. Batters will have, I think in the minors last year, it was you to be back in the box in 8 seconds, in the box, ready to hit. If not, strike is called on you. If the pitcher doesn't throw the ball in 19 seconds, a ball is called. So that's one aspect to it. And here's where the big changes occur, which will lead to more. Really, I mean, they're trying to bring back the ground ball and the stolen base with these rules changes. Your fielders no longer your infielders have to be on the dirt. They can't be in the outfield any longer. So when the pitch is thrown.
Oh, you can't move that shortstop over to deep second base over there and then have the third baseman just on the whole left side of the infield?
Right. You can't have an infielder that is set up on the outfield grass before the pitch is thrown.
Okay.
Once the pitch is thrown, he can run back if he wants to. So that leads to the idea that you don't shift as much as you used to before, and therefore there are more open holes on the infield. So the ground ball isn't such a negative thing, or isn't as negative as it was previously. This is where the stolen base really comes back. And then Correa's not a base stealer. He's a power hitter and all of that stuff. But pitchers will only be able to throw 2 pickoff moves per at-bat. That's it. If you attempt a third pickoff and you don't pick the runner off, it's a balk, and he gets the next base.
Wow.
So this automatically reintroduces the stolen base back into Major League Baseball. Automatically, you will see many more. I mean, hundreds more stolen bases this year.
I like it. Keep it going. Keep it moving. I told you, Phil, I had a baseball coach. David Watkins was my pitching coach. He played at the University of Arkansas, pitched up there. But as soon as we got the ball, we're here to work, man. Let's get the ball, let's get it to look, and let's keep it going. Like it wasn't go pick up the chalk behind you, Razorbacks, go tap your hat, go point at your girlfriend or your mom in the stands. It's like, hey, we're going, get the ball, and let's go and throw it. And he didn't like it if you hesitated and messed around. So I dig it.
But it's also interesting because I think, like college basketball, the rules aren't all exactly the same as they are in the NBA. I mean, the lane is different size. The 3-point line is
it's men to boys still, though. I mean, they're still kids. They're young. It's very rare that you see men in college basketball anymore. Like
the rules in college football are different than they are for professional football.
The ball's totally different, easier to catch. Yep.
Baseball is not like that. The rules usually are just about identical.
The bats are the only thing.
The bats are the only thing that are different, and I think that has more to do with cost than anything else. They just don't want all these broken bats. But the game is usually, I think, in college ball mirrored major league rules more so, and for that reason, I think eventually you'll see these rules make their way into the college game. Like the 2 pickoff rule is not part of college baseball this year. You can put your infielders wherever you want to put them still, but I think that's going to change. I think it's going to change.
So you
because
can
if
still have 3 on one side of second base if you want to?
As far as I know,
They
in
just
college
can't be in the
baseball, you
grass?
can. That's right.
Okay.
Well, and even in Major League Baseball, I think the idea is I think what they were talking about doing is there's like a line behind second base. You got to have 2 infielders on either side of that line.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay.
So that's part of it too. And I think you'll still be able to shift in college baseball. And it's been the last 3-4 years where Arkansas's baseball team has shifted a heck of a lot more than they did before. And I mean, they buy into all of those theories, and they've got tendencies on hitters, and they pitch to those tendencies too, and so they position their fielders in that spot as well.
Who was our center fielder last year? Because he was a stud.
Braden Webb.
Is he coming back?
No, Webb was out of eligibility.
Okay. I didn't watch a whole lot of baseball, so I'm going to watch more this year. But when I did watch, he was one of the guys that it seemed like, man, if they hit it in the gap or anywhere around him, he was getting to the ball.
Speaking of Razorback baseball, there is a former Razorback who is still a free agent, Brian Anderson, who'd been with the the Marlins from the start of his career, is a free agent right now. So he was 4th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2018, 20 homers in 2019. I know he didn't have a great 2020 and has been injured mostly of last year, only played 98 games. That'd be an interesting player for somebody to maybe pick up and sign, because Anderson is a guy who can play a lot of positions on the field and is a pretty good hitter. I mean, 20 homers in a season, nothing to sneeze at. So that's one former Razorback that I think will have the opportunity to sign with a big league team. Let's see. We've got, D and Fort Smith. They did make the bases 3 inches larger this year, and so that also means there's more space for runners to slide into. I think that has to do a little bit with safety around the bases, and it's also owning up to the idea that because the game has changed with replay, I mean, if a runner's foot comes even a centimeter off the base and he's sliding in, the replay can show that, and as long as the fielder keeps his tag on him, he's going to be out. Like, that wasn't a thing before replay. You couldn't tell if the guy came a centimeter off. There was too much dust and dirt there. You would really be like a few inches off.
But wasn't that player safety?
For the umpire to see it.
But isn't that for? They did that for player safety, though. Like we
I
all
think
know,
so too.
Yeah.
Well, it helps the idea for an infielder, especially at second base. There's if you're going to replay on force plays at second base, I mean, for decades there really weren't many middle infielders that had a foot on the base when there was a force play. They just had their feet straddling the base. Replay changes that a little bit, so you need a little bit more room for them to work on that. So this Carlos Correa thing looks like it might be the end of a soap opera. But again, when the Giants signed him and that was talked about, and then they said, this physical, and we're not too sure about this, then he goes to the Mets. And the Mets, who have more money than anybody in the game now because of Steve Cohen, they throw a bunch of money at him. And then, you know what, this physical, we're not too sure about this. Scott Boras is his agent, and he's got him back with the team that signed him last year to a 2-year contract with an opt-out clause, knowing full well that he was going to opt out of that, and then they're going to welcome him right back. Welcome him right back because he is that good. 877-377-6963. Let's break. You got basketball tomorrow at Bud Walton Arena, 6 o'clock. It is on ESPN2. A great place to watch the game is Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith, home of half-price apps and half-price taps during every televised Razorback game. And there's TVs all around the restaurant, so you always have a front row seat, and you can enjoy your favorite apps and beers that are all half-price during televised games. Get over there today because it's Taco Tuesday at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Beef or chicken crispy tacos are $1, $2.95 for pork carnita tacos, and add another $1 for brisket or pork belly tacos. Joe'sFortSmith.com, the website. You can also order on the Waiter app. And visit Joe's Grill and Cantina at 3400 South 74th in Fort Smith, across from Harps, open Tuesday through Saturday. More halftime after a quick break.
All in black, went down to the station, and he never came back. They found his clothing scattered somewhere down the track, and he won't be down on Wall Street in the morning.
ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
A new year means it's time for new work boots, work shoes, safety shoes, casual shoes, fishing shoes, hiking boots, and cowboy boots. Gelco Outdoors has the largest selection and the best brands, ready to make your feet feel happy in the new year. Crappie fishermen, Gelco is stocking up for the spring season. Come check out the gear. 50% off clothing on the clearance rack, loaded with New Year savings. Gelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while, or if you haven't had the best of experiences with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry. Give her a call at 494-7600. They'll take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hi, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, the home of inflation elimination. That's right, we've had enough. Thanks to our live market value pricing, our prices are dropping and our customers are saving now. And you can too on a great selection of Rath Road Ready vehicles, the best used cars you can buy. Plus, our non-commissioned solution specialists are there for you. Let them worry about making all the numbers work. It's what they're paid to do. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. For even more savings and protection, ask about our new Meineke Miles service contracts and prepaid maintenance products. They'll help you keep your car in tip-top shape while saving you money. So if you're like us and you want 23 to be the best year ever and you're ready for some inflation elimination, start today by driving better in a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work, real work, working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Times are hard, you're afraid to pay the fee, so you find yourself somebody who can do the job for free. When you need a bit of loving, cause your man is out of town, that's the time you get me running, and you know I'll be around. I'm a fool to do your dirty work, oh yeah. I don't wanna do your dirty work no more.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Arkansas women's basketball does not have a game this week, and they've picked up a couple big wins in a row. It's 3 in a row, actually, after the loss to LSU. They have trounced the Florida Gators and the Missouri Tigers, and Sailor Poffenbarger has been a huge portion of that, and she has won another SEC Freshman of the Week award. That would make it 4 of them for Sailor Poffenbarger. She's a redshirt freshman, played just a tiny little bit at UConn last year, and then transferred to Arkansas, sat the second half of the season, but she practiced with the team. And, man, I mean, she had some shooting woes for a minute there at the end of the year, but her shot is on, and she does everything else. 24 points against Missouri. That is a career high. Added 6 rebounds and 1 assist, played 35 minutes. And she's averaging, looks like she's averaging about 18.5 points in the last 3 games. 6'2" guard, has the rebounding skills of a forward. She defends, has the long body that you would expect with 6'2". And when the shot is falling, Matt, she has she's I think she could be one of the more complete players in the entire SEC. And it's on a team that already is rebounding well for the most part, that it has good shooters on it. This is a dangerous women's basketball team that Nabes has. They're playing really well right now, and we get to see them against a shorthanded Vanderbilt team next Monday. Vanderbilt just kicked a player off their team, so I think they're down to like 8 scholarship players.
Well, good for her, though, man. That's awesome. Great. Yeah, and usually little things like that, you take care of the little things and big things that happen, and we don't play, she doesn't play for these individual awards, but when the team has success, a lot of times stuff like that follows. So pretty cool. And I'm a Neighbors fan, you know that, Phil. So I'm always excited to see when he's doing well.
Well, last year you had the Freshman of the Year on Arkansas. That was Samara Spencer, and she's putting together a good sophomore season too. And just, I mean, how many weeks have we had in the basketball season now? There's been 9 weeks in college basketball, I think. So I don't know how many times the SEC has awarded a Freshman of the Week, but Poffenbarger is like almost half of the weekly awards for Freshman of the Week. Very well could end up with a second Freshman of the Year award for Arkansas women's basketball. So and then there's the men's game tomorrow against Alabama. 75 points. I'm not saying that's the magic number or anything. I did think there was a magic number against Auburn that you had to reach, and Arkansas did not reach it. But the Hogs have not scored 75 in an SEC game, and Alabama has scored fewer than 75 points in 3 games this year. Admittedly, though, a couple of them have been on the road, but they were both wins at South Alabama and at Houston. Road wins, man. Road wins. Alabama is 3-0 on an opponent's home court this year. Arkansas is 0-2. I just wonder, we brought this up with Curtis Wilkerson yesterday. I mean, I would really love to see the Razorbacks get some kind of a home-and-home with a Power 5 opponent. I like the series that they play with Oklahoma. I mean, that's a good program to match yourself up with on an annual basis, even before they join the SEC. But I'm interested to see Arkansas go to an opponent's home court. Neutral site is not a road game. It's a neutral game. There's as many tickets for your team as there is for the opponent. And there is no home cooking in that sense. From the officials, we always expect a little bit of home cooking just because you're in someone else's building. So going to BOK Center and playing Oklahoma is not the same as going to Stillwater and playing Oklahoma State. It's not the same thing.
The atmosphere is just not the same. You're right, and that's the one thing I noticed about that Auburn game. You didn't see it at the LSU game, but you can tell that's why they have a 26-game home winning streak. It's tough to go in there and win. They're excited. Bruce Pearl's fired up. I mean, they play hard for him, but the atmosphere I thought was great. And as an opposing player, Phil, you're right. You come in, whatever sport it is, and that atmosphere, man, electricity's in the air. there's nothing better than quieting a crowd, making a crowd go quiet when you're on the road. So I love it. That's why you come to the SEC.
You know, and I understand, like, they build the schedule against some of the better mid-major programs because you could end up facing programs like that, teams like that, in the first round or two, or maybe even the Sweet 16 of March Madness. But I just feel like there's also something to be said about what you have to do to go on the road and play against an opponent on their home court. Like when you're going to Auburn, like when the Hogs travel to Rupp Arena, you know, when you have to play Tennessee on the road, all of these really incredibly difficult places to go play. Just one road game against a Power 5 team. One. That's all I'm saying, you know, and it doesn't have to necessarily be Oklahoma State. That's just a team that's close by. But on the other hand, I mean, you have a sellout every time. They sell every ticket inside Bud Walton Arena. So, you know, there are competing interests in this case too, right? As many home games as you possibly can to sell as many tickets as possible, get the sponsors, all of the, you know, views that they're supposed to get, and even more so, you know, because that's also part of running a program is you sell tickets and you got marketing partners, and that's part of it. But one road game, like I'm not talking about what the women's team did where they played, I think it was 4 true non-conference road games. Like that's kind of rare. I know no other team in the SEC did that this year for women's basketball, and there's probably no men's team that did that in the SEC or even in Power 5. So I think Arkansas women's basketball is a little bit more of an outlier as far as that's concerned. But you know what else? The women's team is 5-0 on the road, so they're used to playing on the road. And playing at Kentucky. Kentucky's not very good right now, but they'd lost 20 years in a row there. Missouri was 3-0, and Arkansas boat raced them in their own building. So I think playing non-conference road games, again, one a year might pay some dividends. So when you need to dig deep in a place that is where the home team's won 26 in a row. And then I didn't go into the game against Auburn expecting Arkansas to win. I didn't expect them to have as much trouble scoring as they did, but that's a tough place to play. Sooner or later, that streak's going to end. And I think if Arkansas could have, you know, I don't know, dug deep somehow, I mean, we'll find a way to win the grind them out sort of a games, or just remember being on the road in November, like that might have helped pay some dividends.
There is something to be said about that, Phil, because you get out there and you're playing the game and you come over for a timeout and you can't really even hear yourself think. The student section's back there yelling and you're trying to go over plays and there's always something kind of going on. It's just a little harder to hear everybody speak, and so it helps when you're able to go through that. And experience it earlier in the year until then all of a sudden you get here late in the year and you need to already have learned that lesson.
Hello? A call or a text, 877-377-6963. We heard hello. That's Cabbage Head. Hello. You just said it.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, Cabbage Head, guys. Good show today. Couple things. I called and wanted to ask about Peyton Hillis because I like to see Matt Jones and Peyton Hillis play ball, and apparently he's in pretty bad shape, or he'd have been released from that hospital. But I hope he is, and he's in our prayers. But he's a good guy, just like Matt entertained us a lot when he was playing for the Razorbacks and elsewhere. But I hope Peyton comes out of it. Man, it must have been pretty bad with that salt water, and he rescuing his kids. That's a bad deal. And then the other thing, guys, do you think someday that the rules may change in our favor, that if we need some shooters, we can borrow from the girl Razorbacks to put on the men's team?
It just depends on what they identify as, right? I think you can. Just like how do we identify?
Man, I watch those girls, guys, and they shoot lights out, man. I mean, that one blonde-headed girl that's real tall, all you got to do is get the ball to her, and it's a three-pointer or whatever. It's just those men just don't have any shooters, and they can't hit free throws most of the time. And the coach summed it up last week. They asked him the question, say, well, we won all these games, and then look what's happened. And he hit it right on. He said, once you go to the SEC, your talent steps up quite a bit, and you've got some real good players in the SEC. And when we lost the two guys we lost, which I understand, the Smith or whatever, he wants to hold out. and it's not what they're telling everybody in the press, but he wants to hold out to where he can go pro, which that's here and there. That's fine. But we really needed him in the Brazil. Is that what the other boy's name was? He planned that, and he around those guys, and he had a real good thing going with the guys on the court. Well, you take two away, and you don't have two that good to replace them with. And boys, I don't know about you, but starting in the SEC, it could be bad for us. What do you think?
You don't got four that you can replace them with. I think that was the theory, was you're going to have to replace those guys by committee, and it's tough. I mean, Trevion Brazil is a pterodactyl. I mean, he's a unicorn in the sense that you look around the college landscape, there is not a lot of basketball players built like him. So he was a matchup nightmare. And then
I don't think there's any way to replace somebody like that. You just are a different team without him. You can't expect somebody to come in and do the same things. And with Nick Smith, we never knew. I don't think we ever had a sense of what he meant to the team. But I think right now he can look and say, look, this was your best 3-point shooter, your best long-range shooter, and really bereft of that right now.
And what it does is a trickle-down effect. When Nick Smith is on the court, the best defensive player has to guard him. So your second-best defender goes and guards Anthony Black, and then your third-best defender goes and guards Ricky Count. So then your matchups are just so much better.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. Good, you did, but still, can we borrow from the girls' Razorbacks till we get going right?
The thing about Arkansas women's basketball, sometimes Cabbage Head, is the percentage for 3-point shots isn't always great. It's volume at times, the pace that they play. That sometimes generates, an enormous amount of looks, and sometimes they do go down, sometimes they don't. But they're also a team that struggled to shoot free throws. So,
I tell you what, they're awful fun to watch, though, aren't they?
They really are. And Sailor Poffenbarger right now, not just her, but I think also Sam and Michaela Daniels, they've been worth the price of admission, and I think that'll continue. Cabbage Head, appreciate you, man. It's good to hear from you.
Thanks, guys. Continue to march. You guys doing good.
Thanks a lot. You got it. Andy in Mountain Home asking about Arkansas baseball scheduling non-conference road series. Now, I know they didn't schedule any last year, and again, going to Houston or Texas and playing in the Major League Park is not the same. That's neutral site, and quite often Arkansas has more fans at those games than the other teams. I don't think there are any road non-conference this year either, but there were seasons in recent years where they did schedule road non-conference. I'm thinking a weekend series at Louisiana Tech and a midweek against Troy on the road at Southern California. So there have been years they've done it. It just wasn't last year, and it isn't this year either. And the other aspect is that Arkansas baseball, I think they've shown in the last couple of years that they can still go and win SEC road series. They've done that. All right, let's break, and we're into the home stretch of halftime. I'm going to go check on the chicken soup, and we'll come right back.
I want all of your mind. People turn the TV on, it looks just like a window.
While most of us are familiar with the opioid epidemic, we forget about the threat we faced for decades, methamphetamine. Meth is our biggest drug threat, and the number of people dying each year continues to grow. It's destroying our communities. You've seen it. It might not have been your kid or your parent, but it was someone you know. To find ways to help, go to meovermeth.org. Choose your community. Choose your family. Choose your...
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash.
One call cleans it all.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sockeye.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got trophies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matches.
Oh, girl! You have no basic medicine! I see the medicine! You see the medicine! Oh, girl!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Ryan Poles is the Chicago Bears general manager. He has said that they would be absolutely have to be blown away to take a quarterback with the number one overall pick in the draft.
That's
not going to give up on Justin Fields right now. And Fields isn't the reason that Chicago stinks.
I'm not that sold on the kid from Bama.
I know you're not.
Yeah. I wouldn't be giving up Justin Fields over Bryce Young. I mean, what? So you're telling me a 5'9" kid that's not over 200 pounds and runs about a 4.68 40 is going to come up here and, I mean, if you had Michael Vick speed, Michael Vick had one of the best arms coming out that year. Drew Brees came out that same draft. I think Michael Vick was number one overall pick and Drew Brees might have been like the number one overall or the second round number one pick. But I don't see what he excels at to make me think that he's going to come up here and dominate. He's an undersized kid that's going to go to a bad team and get hit and get hurt. I just. Man, it'd be tough for me to be taking him so early in the draft.
You know who looked good against that Georgia defense? C.J. Stroud. Stroud or Will Levis or Bryce Young, either one of those three, I think. And again, Young has the level of success at Alabama that Levis does not. Levis has a lot of these tools and the size, but not the production. C.J. Stroud kind of has both. He's 6'3". He's big enough. He's tall enough. He's got the production. He's done well at Ohio State. So maybe look at him as the first.
Definitely, I definitely have to take a fine-tooth comb and look at all those game tape of those guys and watch them play. But the kid I saw play the most was Bryce Young, and he didn't impress me to where I'm thinking, oh man, we got to have that kid. We got to have him as our leader of our franchise for the next decade.
So Arizona fired Cliff Kingsbury yesterday. I'd forgotten that Kingsbury initially took a job as the offensive coordinator at Southern California, and before he ever did that, and before he ever recruited for them or coached a game.
Before it was even called Bobby Petrino?
That's right. Well, I mean, how do you go from, all right, you weren't a really great college head coach, but you've got this mind to be a good offensive coordinator, so we're going to bring you over to Southern California. All of a sudden, the Arizona Cardinals like, you know what? You're our head coach. You're our head coach.
Did it have anything to do with Kyler Murray? But thinking bringing your quarterback in and bringing the coach in and running the same system. I think when Andrew Luck went to the Colts, they brought his OC. They called the OC from Stanford and brought him in to run the same plays. And you see a little bit of that. I think RG3. You can't really run that Baylor offense in the NFL, but you can run some of the concepts, and that was some of the things that he was very successful when Shanahan. I think he had Shanahan's last year. They made the playoffs, and RG3 got hurt. He just hurt his knee that year.
Well, now they're saying that the Cardinals front office is saying that Kyler Murray will get input on the head coach. So I guess if you're paying him this much money, you'd want your quarterback to at least be like, yeah, I can play for this guy. But how much influence is he going to have? I still wonder if Murray can stay healthy for more than for more than half a season.
The undersized quarterback that's not very fat. I mean, and he's way more athletic than Bryce Young. So you just can't run around. And I said this year about KJ. You watching KJ in college, he's a bigger kid, but you can't run around and try to truck stick these guys. You can't get hit 12 times a game rushing the ball and then 5 times a game passing the ball as well. I mean, that's just too many hits. These running backs don't take that many hits, and you see how long their career lasts. So you got to be careful, and it just comes with reps, and it comes with – and hopefully KJ figured that out. And I thought he did. I thought later in the year he ran the ball a lot smarter.
Yes, that's right. He did avoid some of those hits a little bit later on. This is kind of an amazing note about an NFL franchise that has been around since 1920, the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, they were the Chicago Cardinals, then the St. Louis Cardinals. Been Arizona since I think 89? Is that when they moved to Arizona? They have never had a head coach last any longer than 6 years.
Wow.
For a franchise that has been around for 123 seasons, they've never had a head coach last longer than 6 years.
Who was the cat that Jake the Snake? Jake Plummer. He was was he the Denver quarterback? Did he coach was he an Arizona quarterback too? I know
he was Arizona State.
But Kurt Warner had the most success out of quarterbacks for Arizona. It seems like when I'm trying to think over the last, you had like a Steven DeBrine or a but they haven't had a lot of success, Phil. I remember Arizona getting whooped by the Cardinals. I mean, by the Cowboys all the time. It seemed like Dallas would play Arizona and they would just crush them every time.
It was just so weird seeing Emmitt Smith in that uniform, wasn't it? It was like watching Franco Harris play like a handful of games for the Seattle Seahawks. Let's just look. Some of the names here: Josh Rosen, Carson Palmer, John Cole. Yeah. But Kurt Warner. Plummer did play for them. He was with Denver, but he did play for Arizona as a local legend too. I don't know if you read this story. You need to look this up at some point. Jake Plummer he's an interesting cat.
He's a wine guy, right? Doesn't he make his own wine and stuff?
He's a mushroom guy.
He's a mushroom guy.
I'm talking about the sort of mushrooms that you might not find in a restaurant, right?
Those are the best kind. But I liked seeing him walk in, like whatever he would do, like his aura, the way he would just wear his t-shirt and pants and like kind of over it, like he had a cool vibe.
Get an interesting text here too. You said you don't believe in the Alabama quarterbacks in the NFL. Like Tua's been good, last couple of years, but he can't stay healthy.
Tua's talented now. Tua might have been the most talented, and I know the kid up in New England is playing well. Mac Jones, but the talent-wise, Tua had the most talent. Yeah.
And I mean, Jones had a good rookie season, and it didn't really go very well this year either. But I do, I do think, and the more I think about it, like if you're looking for the package of production to go off of, actual numbers to go off of, and the physical attributes, C.J. Stroud may be the right guy to look at. Because I believe production in college. I don't necessarily believe that Will Levis can turn into some automatic, just turn into some good decision maker.
Well, you look at Jay Cutler at Vanderbilt, and they had a little success, and he had some. You could tell he had talent, and he was on that Bears team that had that great defense, and he broke his thumb trying to make a tackle. Then you didn't see any quarterbacks try to make a tackle for a little bit. But I like the fact that Cutler there at Vanderbilt, he didn't play with the best offensive line, he didn't play with the best receivers, so you get to see more of him. So that's the Will Levis theory, is like he's under the gun a little bit more than just going out to spring ball in 2 days, because half those games with Bama and half those games with some of those, I mean, you're just going out there and you're having fun because at every position you're better than the other team.
Just looking through some of these coaches in Arizona Cardinals and St. Louis Cardinals history. I mean, Bruce Arians had a nice little run there for 5 years. They let him go. Did he retire from Arizona? I remember Arians retired as being the Steelers' offensive coordinator. Next thing you knew, he took the head coaching job at Arizona. I think they let him go, and it ends up winning a Super Bowl with Tampa.
Tampa, yeah.
And they're not the same without Arians, by the way, in Tampa.
Do you think it's kind of that Brad Stevens thing, though? Is he not still involved? Like, Brad Stevens is the GM, but like these coaches, you saw Phil Jackson, you saw Pat Riley, you see guys, Bill Parcells, they're still involved in some way. It seems like Bruce Arians still should be, I don't know. But
well, I think if they say you're getting a promotion, like you're not just getting a promotion to sit there, right? If you were a Super Bowl winning head coach, you get a promotion. I would assume you're going to get some input on what the team will do. Ken Wisenhunt lasted 6 years at Arizona and took them to the playoffs twice. I hadn't forgotten Gene Stallings was a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals, and the next thing you knew, he took Alabama to a national championship. Don Coryell was a head coach there for a few years. I mean, they've had some guys that had success elsewhere, just didn't necessarily have a lot of success with the Cardinals franchise. Curly Lambeau. Yes, that Curly Lambeau coached for the St. Louis Cardinals, for the Chicago Cardinals near the end of his career. Nowhere near the success he had, and it looks like 5 or 6 seasons in Green Bay. Oh, boy. All right, we better take a break. We'll wrap halftime up after this.
to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. You might know us as your source for large Xerox multifunction or production printers. But for many of you, your needs have changed. Smaller equipment has become more necessary, and we are here to help. We carry the Xerox desktop models, but also brother workhorse printers and multifunctions with 3-year replacement warranties included. So give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document solutions to the River Valley.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Daddy don't live in that New York City no more. He don't celebrate Sunday or Saturday. He stowed out on Avenue D. Daddy don't live in that New York City no more.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You know, sometimes we tell you we're taking all your requests and your favorite place for hit music. ESPN Arkansas, and we just did take a request. Jay from Rogers asked for this one. This is an obscure Steely Dan song, Jay. I know a lot of Steely Dan music. I'd not heard that one, so well done.
DJ Laserdisc.
That's right. Hey, I don't even know who won the pick'em.
Oh my goodness!
Who won the pick'em? Do I earn 25 cents? That really makes me feel like a millionaire.
You might have to grab him by the ankles and turn him upside down and shake it if you're going to get a hold of it.
I think the real question is who came in last.
You would think the guy with the scoreboard over here. I could have Patrick Reeded y'all guys. Y'all weren't even looking at the scorecard. I could have just gave myself a couple more birdies.
You're just you're way too honest about it.
I got my tail whooped. I ended up with 23. Maddie T. I actually ended up with 25. Maddie T. ended up with 29, and then Phil, you had 32. So y'all first, second, third. Fish City Phil got first. Aldi got second, and I'm on the low man on the totem pole.
Is that fish with an F or a PH? My name starts with a PH. It better be the same.
Exactly.
All right, so Maddie, what do you say I give you 2 dimes and a nickel and I get that Aldi quarter? Is that an even trade?
Maybe I misunderstood. I thought if I lost, you got the quarter. I didn't think it was that if you win, you get the quarter.
got silver polish.
Because, see, I'm not a loser right now.
See, this pile on.
I'm gonna need a ruling from the judges over here. Matt Jones, you're the judge, I guess, since you're holding the scoreboard.
I know I lost, so Matty T is right. He beat me. That's very true. I got last place.
Well, then you give me whatever quarter you go shopping with.
There we go. Next time I go to Aldi's, I'm gonna get one.
Man, all these last few years, I never won. I never won before. I didn't beat SmackDown. I didn't beat.
You
Drew.
hit everything, Phil.
Ty.
You had the first turnover, you had the first touchdown, and you had the final. So you were the big winner. Yeah.
So I can feel pretty good about myself for the rest of the day. Good. The chicken soup might poison us, and I'll feel really good about
just
myself.
Make sure it boils. Then there you go. Right, just boil it out.
The chicken soup is boiled. It's just it didn't. The fat isn't ready to be skimmed after 3 hours. It probably needs another 2 or 3 hours to really be. Because if you don't skim the fat, you're going to end up not feeling really good. Second place is the first loser.
No, I'm the second winner.
Silver polish McElroy, because that was gold.
There are no losers when it comes to the picks because we don't have any punishments this time. And since
I got to buy you guys tacos. That's what it is. Next time we're hanging out, I owe you guys a taco lunch. That's it.
Now we're not just talking about heading over to T-Bell or anything for just a couple.
No, we're
going to
sit down and drink a margarita, drink a Corona, whatever you want, and you get all the tacos you want.
Can we do it?
Mushroom tacos, anyone?
We have to wait till February because it's dry January still, so we got to hold off on the.
Hey, y'all, it's a 1 year. You can cash this in for 1 year, and then
expiration date 1 year from today.
1 year from the new year, January 1. Yeah,
January 9th, 2024. We're having lunch. Okay, figure that out. Hey, the Eastside Liquor podcast coming out soon, and Ruskin and Zach are standing by to entertain you from 2 until 7 o'clock, and we're back with you tomorrow for another award-winning edition of Halftime. For Matt Jones, for Matt Travis, I'm Phil. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Get up, get out, and get better.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong.